get started, you'll need an oval pattern. You can get the pattern I used at the link in the description of this video. I have both an SVG file that you can use on a cutting machine and a PDF that you can cut by hand. You'll need to cut 18 of these oval shaped pieces, and you'll want to use paper that's fairly thin. You don't want to use cardstock for this, so I recommend using a thin printed scrapbook paper like I'm using here. I got my paper from Michael's. So once you have all 18 of those cut out, the next step will be to fold each one in half. If you're using a Cricut like I did, I just added a score line down the middle to make it really easy to fold it in half, but you can also just eyeball it and fold it in half by hand. So I'm going to put it so the color is on the inside of the fold. It will change the look depending on whether you put it on the inside or the outside, but I found that the color shows more if it's on the inside actually. So just go ahead and fold each of those in half just like that. And I'll repeat that process with all 18 pieces. So now that all 18 are folded, we're ready to move on to the next step, which is gluing. Now I'll be using hot glue for this. You can definitely try other adhesives, but it needs to be something that's really strong. So I'm going to start with this piece right here, and we're going to be adding the pieces on top like this. So we're going to be following a pattern and gluing all the pieces the same way. So on the inside of each piece, you're going to take the glue, we're going to put a dot up at the top here, right down the middle right here, and then a dot at the bottom. Then I'm going to close that up and just make sure that those areas attach. So once that's glued together, we're ready to add our next piece. And to do that, we're going to glue in the opposite areas of where we just glued. So before we glued the top, the middle, and the bottom, now we're going to glue here and here. So I'm just going to take the glue and do a line right here. And a line right here. Just trying to go in between those first glued areas. Then I'll just take another piece and line everything up and press that in place. Then I'll open that piece up and we're going to glue it just like we did the first one. So a dot here at the top, down the middle, and a dot at the bottom. Then press that together. Now we're going to add another piece, so we're going to add glue in the opposite areas right here and right here. Then I'll take that next piece, line everything up, and press it in place. Then I'll open that up, put glue at the top, glue down the middle, and glue at the bottom. And you can see that we're following a pattern here. So on the printed side of the paper, we're always gluing at the top, the middle, and the bottom. And then on the white areas on the outside, we're just always gluing in those two other places. So just keep repeating this process until you get to the last piece. I found when adding these lines of glue, it's best if you stop just short of the outer edge of the egg, because if you go all the way to the edge, it will show more on the outside. Then go ahead and glue that last piece in place. Open it up and add glue at the top, the middle, and the bottom. So now we have all 18 pieces glued together and it looks like this. It may not look like much, but if you grab those last pieces and start pulling them apart, it magically forms this egg like this. We're just going to be gluing those two end pieces together to complete this egg. So if you want to hang the egg, like use it as an ornament, we're going to add a loop of ribbon. So just decide how big of a loop that you want to hang it from. And then cut that piece of ribbon. Then we're just going to be attaching it here on the egg. So let these pieces close up and we're just going to add some hot glue right here. Glue one end. Then you can make sure that the egg can still be formed. Then take the other end. We'll just glue it on top right here with a generous amount of hot glue. press that in place. Then we're just going to take these end pieces and glue them together. So we're going to follow the same pattern that we did on all the white sides, which is to put glue in these two places, right here and right here. Then I'm just going to carefully grab those two end pieces and attach them together. You can kind of put your fingers in some of these other areas to press those two end pieces together and make sure they attach. Then if you have an area like this where it's not supposed to be stuck together, you can just pull on it a little bit and it should come apart. Just like that. Then just look around and make sure that everything looks how you want it to and make any adjustments. If you have an area that's coming apart a little bit, you can just add a little bit more glue there. And then very carefully press those two pieces back together, making sure not to burn yourself. And that's it! Here is the finished paper Easter egg. I love that these look complicated, but they're actually really easy and fun to make. I hope you enjoyed this paper Easter egg tutorial. If you'd like to see more Easter crafts from my channel, I will put the playlist on screen. Thanks so much for watching.